Hello, music technology. We're going to keep talking about scales and chords and stuff, and I'm going to do a lesson that I would have done in the classroom if we weren't all distance learning. So we'll see if this works. Okay, so we've been doing scales, we've been doing chords, but I skipped over because we're doing things out of order. This fairly important thing. So here we go. We're going to do the G major scale today. Yesterday we did G as well. I don't know, let's switch it up. Let's do F. So here's F major. So we start on F, which we did a couple days ago. It's up at the top there. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. And I'm going to write them in this time because that's of critical importance. G, and then A, and then it's going to be a half step to B flat. We'll look at this on the keyboard in a second. This is stuff that you guys are all capable of doing on your own. Whole step up to D, whole step up to E, and then a half step to F. And now I'm going to write in my scale degrees up top. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 again. Okay, so there's my scale. And here's how it sounds. Here is F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B flat, whole step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F. And so here's the thing. All of the chords and all the music you've ever heard is based on this same system. Chords come out of this in versions. Some people have emailed me, a couple people, about how, is this how all songs work? And yes, but here's the one critical piece that I left out until now. So in the scale, not all notes are created equal. So check this out. I'm going to play the scale. And if I stop there, you should be really annoyed. And your brain is like freaking out, being like, just play the last note, just play the last note. And now if I go like this, everything's wonderful. Right, so I'm gonna do that again. That's some weird stuff, because I'm not even in the same room with you and I'm messing with your brain. Here it is again. Here's the scale. Right, your brain hears this. Totally great. And it doesn't matter how long I wait, your brain is programmed that, like, you want to hear that last note no matter what. That is tension, and the musical term for that is dissonance. D-I-S-S-O-N-A-N-C-E. That's musical tension. Okay, and so of the notes in the scale, the most musically tense note is scale degree 7, right? 7 really, 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 really wants to go up to 1, right? In the way that, like, various atoms in chemistry really want to bond or whatever. Like laws of physics, that note wants to go to that note once you set it up. The other one is 4. It's not quite as strong, but check this out. So here's my scale again. And now that really fries your brain, but now everything is right with the world. So if I play 4 and 7 together, that is the most dissonant interval, or the two notes that are the least pleasant sounding together are 4 and 7 in a major scale. This is called a tritone. The reason is that tone is sometimes a synonym for whole step, and this is 3 whole steps. Check it out. 1 whole step, 2 whole steps, 3 whole steps. Skip that note, that note, that. So that's 3 whole steps. Your brain does not like that. But if 4 goes down to 3 and 7 goes up to 1, sunshine and rainbows, right? So if I play the scale, I could talk now and you're going to get really annoyed because your brain is like, just play the stupid thing. And I could go for like quite some time here and go back over to the thing. But as soon as now everything's cool. That's weird. So in the scale, 4 and 7 are the magic dissonant notes. And 4 really wants to drop down to 3, and 7 really wants to go up to 1, right? Those are the 2 dissonant notes. So, to our chords, because here's why this matters. Our 1 chord contains 1, 3, and 5. And let's check that out. So here's 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, 5. Are any of those magically dissonant terrible notes? No, there's no 4, there's no 7. So the 1 chord sounds like home bass, and the word for that in music is tonic, because it's grounded, it's not tense. Here it is. Home bass, everything is wonderful. Great. The 4 chord, which is B flat, in this key we're in F, so B flat, D, and F, the 4 chord, 4, 6, 1, contains dissonant note number 1. It's not the most dissonant note, but it's the first one that we get to in the scale. And so the 4 chord is slightly tense. So if I play the 1 chord, followed by the 4 chord, you really want it to go back to the 1 chord. The song doesn't sound over if I leave it there. Now it does, because 4 really wants to drop down to 3. Great. 5 chord, obviously, is going to have the other one. 5, 7, and 2. 5, 7, 2. So there's 7 right there. So the 5 chord contains 7, which is the most dissonant note. Interesting, the 7 chord, which we haven't talked about, is so dissonant that it is very rarely used. So we use the 4 chord and the 5 chord because the 4 chord has one of the dissonant notes, the less dissonant one, and the 5 chord contains 7, right? So here's my 5 chord. So here's 1, here's 4, here's 5, and now if I play those 3 chords, your brain has heard 4, it's now hearing 7, and it really, 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 really wants to hear 1. And that's basically how all music ever works. All music ever is about moving between these chords where the 4 chord and the 5 chord contain dissonance and the 1 chord is stable. So chord progressions, sequences of chords, go from stability through these and then it comes back here, right? Now, just to tie in the last thing that we did yesterday, before I give you the little, yesterday we saw the 5-7 chord, here it is up here, when we looked at the Mozart piece. So sometimes the 5 chord, when you want to get really nuts, you can go 5, 7, 2, and 4. There, 5, 7, 2, 4. That is the 5-7 chord, and holy crap, that contains both 7 and 4, the 2 most dissonant notes possible. So that, the 5 chord in any key, here it is, really, really wants to go to 1. And just for some historical context, for all of classical music history for hundreds of years, you always started your piece of music on the 1 chord, like Mozart yesterday. Where's my Mozart? Here's Mozart. He starts with the 1 chord. That had been the thing for hundreds of years. Beethoven comes along. Yes, they're different people, Safin. Beethoven comes along, and his first symphony, written when he was 20-something years old, starts with the 5 chord. Like his very first measure of his very first symphony just goes, which sounds really bland to us. Why is that a big deal? That was like a giant middle finger to all the other musicians ever in I'm Beethoven and I'm going to do whatever I want. And so from the first note of my first symphony, I'm breaking rule number 1. Rule number 1 is the 1 chord is home bass, the 5 chord is dissonant. So here's our little exercise for today. There is my F major scale. There are my chords with my consonants and my dissonance. What I want you guys to do for today is to write out the E flat major scale. And so I'll give you the first note. Here's the E flat. So you're going to do E flat major scale, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. And either put it in bold or highlight, but one way or circle them, whatever. Highlight scale degree 4 and scale degree 7. So like I did over here, when you do your scale, I want scale degree 4 in the E flat major scale to be either, you can put it in bold if you're typing this or drawing it, circle it, 4 and 7, and then in the chords, circle 4 and 7, and that'll be good for today. And next week we will continue with this, and I'll talk to you then. Stay safe. Bye.